What's up guys, Shuichi here, and with this video we're going to get back into ranking the perk locations, try to keep it consistent before I branch off again. And next up comes Quick Revive. Since I forgot to do it in the last video, this ranking is based on accessibility mid-round. Can you grab the perk and recover mid-round, or will you go down trying to do it? Anyways, let's get started. Quick Revive, Transit, Starting Room. Oh wow, starting room. Who would have guessed? Anyways, that's not the point. The annoying thing about this perk location, as the rounds go on, the floor is going to be surrounded by lava. Not only that, it's going to be in a tight cubbyhole to the right of the entrance, right next to a barrier. But if you're quick with your movements, you get in there, grab it, get out, it's not too difficult. The curve isn't too tight, the only downside is the one entrance. If you're good at manipulating your wave, I'd say it's easy. You get in there, you curve around a few corners, you get back out. You shouldn't get stuck unless you get your horde blocked at the entrance. If you're like some people and refuse to open that door and only use the power one, you're not gonna have a fun time, but obviously we're not gonna go with that because late game you cannot be using the turbine, especially if your turbine breaks. Therefore that's gonna negate that, and I'm gonna give it a B. Might be a controversial one, considering the others that I've given C's, but I think this one is manageable. Okay, I know I said I wasn't doing this, but with Nuketown we're going to glance over this real quick, because if you're playing solo, the circumstances change based on RNG. If you're playing solo, it's going to spawn first. It's just the RNG of where it lands compared to what round it lands on. So if we're basing it off that, I'm going to give it a high C, a low B. From what I recall, the stands aren't in too bad of a location unless you're stuck in one of the houses, then it gets really bad. But if we're basing it off just the RNG itself, as I said, let's go with C. We're going to put a second ranking for co-op, which is going to be an F. In Diarize, Quick Revive is the only perk that does not change its location. It's always going to be in the elevator right next to the spawn room, and it doesn't switch with Who's Who or Speed Cola. The biggest downside about this perk location though is going to be waiting for it to come to the floor that you're on, and if you're in a rush, it basically just comes down to running a train in those tight-knit corridors. But if you can do it, it's probably also going to be a C tier. But let's be honest, if you're trying to recover mid-round on Diarize, you're already dead. That map sucks to recover on. It doesn't matter what the perk is. Diarize itself just has a bad rep for a reason. But we're not rating Diarize, are we? Mob of the Dead. There is no Quick Revive on Mob of the Dead. So it's basically like a NA, not associable. At the same time, would you count the spectral form as Quick Revive? Because in that sense you get it every round. No, because then we'd be ranking Quick Revive itself as a perk on the map rather than the perk location. Look, not accessible. I love you spectral form because you're unlimited, but yeah, not accessible. Stop trying to justify it, Shuichi. God. Okay, moving on to Buried. Yes, that's the next map. I'm getting sidetracked here. There's a few ways to get to it, I'd say about 3 or 4, but it's still tedious to get in there because you gotta get in that tight little room, and then you gotta go, like, one of the routes you gotta go through tunnels, another one you have to go through Maze and Mansion, and some of the tunnels are quicker than the other. You could use the Paralyzer to go up through the hole, but frankly, I don't think it's worth getting if you have to go through all that. To me, it's a D tier location because it's tight, and as I said, you gotta go through one of the multiple routes to get above the Fallen City. So yeah, I'm giving this one a D tier. I don't really want to get into too much detail about the little winding path. But on the plus side, if you don't use the maze, you don't have to deal with the witches and their D tier. Lastly, we have Origins. Okay, I'm going back and editing this part. You guys aren't going to realize it because it's going to look like a normal part of the video. When I was doing Quick Revives, I was kind of harsh on it and compared it to Jug's locations. But that's kind of far from the truth, considering Jug's locations and Black Ops 2 are all death traps. This one, the only issue you really have is the doorways and the barrier next to it. As long as you can get through the doorways, you're basically in and out of there. It's not too big of an issue. The generator is kind of in the way, but I think you can squeeze past it. Would I call it a death trap? Only if the zombies are still spawning. If they're all already spawned and you're running a train, it's not too bad. Please mind the dog in the background. I went back and saw the ranking that I gave Transit's location for Quick Revive, and if I gave that one a B and this one a C, then something's wrong. So I'm gonna have to give both of them a B, because there is no way in hell Transit's Quick Revive location is better than Origins. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm kind of being harsh with this ranking list. Is it me? Am I just not being generous enough, or is it Black Ops 2 in general? You know what? You're all perfect in your own little way. gold stars for all of you. Yay! Fuck that shit. I'm starting to realize Black Ops 2 perk locations are horrendous compared to Black Ops 1. I hope when I get to Black Ops 3 it's a little bit nicer. Oh shit, I skipped World at War, didn't I? I gotta go back and do that shit. Dude, do I just make World at Wars one video? Because there's only 8, 12, 16, 20 locations? Quick at it! 16 fucking locations, Shuichi! It ain't that hard! Learn to count! Okay, back to your video. Fuck, am I supposed to be doing Pack-a-Punch as well? I did a best and a worst video? No, seriously, if anybody's watching this, because this is basically my outro at this point, if anybody's watching this, do I go back and, like, make an actual video ranking the Pack-a-Punch locations other than just the best 3, worst 3? Am I supposed to go back and do that? And if anybody's watching these ranking videos, should I stop what I'm doing and go straight back to World at War and do that in one video? I really could use some viewers right now. That'd be fucking cool. If anybody's watching this, this is the outro for the video, unlike a smooth outro for the last few, because I'm slowly descending into madness this video. Anyways, I should probably slap on a ranking now for the video. Here's the ranking of each of the perk locations for Quick Revive. If you don't agree with any of the rankings, do what people do in 2026 and say your opinion fucking sucks, because people don't know how to argue civilly now. Tell me why you think the perk needs a better or worse score. Again, I feel like I've been very harsh on these rankings for Black Ops 2, but as I said, Black Ops 2's locations suck. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, give me any future ideas if you enjoy my content, and as always, don't die.